Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind ya. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind ya. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Tuesday edition of YSN Live. I'm your host, DJ Yoakley, alongside my co-pilot, as always, the 8-time best-selling author, as well as the world traveler, Oscar winner. Congratulations on that, pal. Appreciate you.
Not for sound effects. We learned that yesterday.
Yeah, that was a rough sound effect day yesterday. George Lucas would have been absolutely disappointed for the lads.
I let you down, George.
I was going to do a moment of silence. We're just going to let that fly. We're just going to let that slide. Let it slide. Also, he is a what else did you win? You Pulitzer Prize runner-up. That's okay.
Runner-up.
We'll get back on the horse.
Trying to get it this year.
He won.
We're
some
also
stuff.
going for the Peace Prize. We're trying. We're gonna make a trip to Sweden and try to get that.
And he also won the yellow ribbon at the Canfield Fair for the 7th best photo of a pumpkin. So congratulations on that as well.
Our guest today probably got first for his photo of a pumpkin.
Anthony Pastella?
No, I mean our Greg. Sorry, the professor.
Okay, I was like, Greg is not a guest. Like he doesn't even take his shoes off when
our co-host. I was lost between co-host, and I was like, Tuesday, annual Tuesday. I don't know, whatever we want to call him. He's the professor. He's Greg. He's the Tuesday man.
You're the everyday man, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Ronald Hart.
Let's go.
Couldn't even finish my freaking intro. We have completely derailed this show already. This show stinks. It's so bad.
Greg's contemplating if he even wants to come on.
Yeah, he's like, all right, technical difficulties. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on Tuesdays, whenever he wants to. He is a legendary professor. He knows everything about everything. And he's pretty good at taking pictures as well. Also very good on the microphone when he decides he wants to hop on those. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg McAfee.
Ooh.
How we doing, guys?
Wasn't the tower, baby. Wasn't the tower.
That's some kid music right there. That's 95 fastball up and in.
I love it. Greg, how are we doing, pal?
Good, guys. How about yourself?
Wonderful. Yeah. So much to talk about after the debacle that was our draft yesterday for the boys and girls. Obviously, we have a pretty big event coming up on Saturday, the YSN All-Star Game for basketball. Ref Rob will be in the house. DJ Chip Banks will be in the house, as well as Steve Vesey as a celebrity judge. We will also have, all kinds of skills challenges, including a 3-2-1 contest, 3-point contest, slam dunkaroo contest. Anthony, we had some people fall off the wagon.
Yeah,
in
we
this
need
damn
some.
dunk
We need some
contest.
dunkers. We need some dunkers out there. If you're out there and you think you're got what it takes to be in a dunk contest,
Sign up.
reach out to us.
At this point, you can be an
yeah.
all-star. Come on, even
Whether
if you're
you-
not, let's
yeah,
go.
whether you're on the roster already or you're not, like, come on, let's go.
There's
At this
some
point-
dunkers out there. There's
We'll
still
bring
some
you out of
dunkers out there.
We'll bring you
At
out of
this
the crowd.
At this point, Steve Easy might have to
Let's go.
actually be
All right. Out of
So-
retirement, Steve.
Steve, if you're out there watching, oh boy, bring those J's because you might be. We'll call you Southwest because you'll be taking an unexpected flight. We have so much to talk about, guys. Something that happened in the last few weeks. It's been happening for a while, but something that we definitely need to discuss before Anthony Pastella shows up in about 10 minutes or so. There is a real situation going on, not just here locally, but across the state and really countrywide when it comes to sports and conferences and like the status of them. Now, in case you're just tuning in 2017, this same exact year that YSN was founded, there was the ITCO broke up to create the EOAC and the MVAC. That was the big one. The NE8 was then formed off of kind of that.
Yeah, because the
from-
AAC kind of got a lot smaller.
Correct. Since then, the MVAC, in case you've been living under a rock, is on its way of just complete breaking up of one division, or whatever you want to say, a tier, however you want to say it. One side of that is completely busted. Newton Falls is coming over to the other side. Crestview is
Looking.
on an island,
Yeah.
essentially. So,
Yeah.
they have, in the way I understand it, and this is some of this might be hearsay. So again, look at the disclaimer at the beginning of this particular video, and take this with a grain of salt because it sounds like Crestview was looking to jump into the EOAC. That was denied, as I understand it, and now they're kind of looking. There was a Morning Journal article with the athletic director Casey Bogard that said, "Hey, there's a lot of teams out there that potentially we could create a new conference out of this, but he'd like to go into an existing conference and not shake things up and be quote unquote, I don't think he quoted this, but be the bad guy and break up a home that's already there." Let's just start here. Okay. This is what most people will not talk about. And I'm not afraid to. I've never been afraid to. I don't think you guys are either. Conferences should not be particularly about wins and losses for one particular team. And I think we've come to that point. The only way teams are going to join conferences is, are we going to win the conference in every single sport, under every single stipulation? And it's just not feasible in a cyclical world with as many small schools as we have here in our area. You're not going to win every single conference title in every single sport. Why are we having these conference issues, guys? Greg, you've probably been closer to this Gator, being the editor at the Vindicator and running sports as long as you have, and you see this countrywide.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we having these issues right here, right now?
I don't know. I mean, it's teams that maybe want change, or schools that want change, something like that, where they want the competition level to be a little easier maybe for themselves. I don't know. I joined I moved to the area in 2021, year after COVID, so I haven't really kind of gone through a bunch of conference changes since I've been in the area and things like that. But I think it always comes with change. I think it's just a cyclical thing, like you kind of said. I mean, even back in 2017, when you had new conferences changing, it's something that I haven't seen a ton of kind of, throughout my sports journalism career, I guess you could say. It's been pretty consistent from what I've seen for the most part. But with this in particular situation, I think you have teams maybe just kind of looking for new homes, looking for new competition, looking for better advantages for themselves, like you kind of said, DJ. I mean, in this particular situation, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how it all plays out and how it settles, before that time comes. But it's definitely an interesting situation, I think.
Anthony, how about you?
I know the reasons why the college conferences have changed are a lot different than maybe the reasons why high school are, but I don't think it's a coincidence that we just saw big shakeups in the big conferences in college. Now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
2 years later, we're seeing big shakeups in high school. If people think I think when they see it, they're doing it up there. I guess we have to try to find a way to, maybe we're not in the right conference. If Texas and Oklahoma aren't happy in the Big 12, maybe we shouldn't be happy in the MVAC or whatever you may be. And then those conversations start to happen. It probably took about 2 years for those conversations to kind of find teeth and find reality. And here we are now. Conference half-lives aren't really that big. I mean, the 88 is not even 10 years old, and it's going to look a lot different probably in the next 2 years than it did even 2 years ago. We already saw Jefferson leave a couple of years ago. They were an original NE8 member, and now from what I'm hearing, it's going to look a lot different than it did, even this year, maybe in a couple of years. So it's taken less than 10 years for conferences to really shape and then unshape and then look a lot different. So I think maybe it's because we're this more wishy-washy as a people now. We're kind of like, hey, this is going to be fun. And then, I'm not winning here. So and then in 10 more years, you'll feel like, hey, maybe this team's winning too much. Let's give them the boot, because that's why the ITCL broke up. So it's either you're not winning or you're winning too much, or, hey, we aren't winning, so let's leave. I feel like those are the two reasons conferences split up. Either one team's winning too much and the other guy's going to gang up and give them the boot, or a team isn't winning enough and they're like, hey, let's get out of here because we can't win in this conference.
I also have a bit of a theory here, because something you said kind of triggered in my mind what I thought before, but now it's actually coming to fruition. So if you remember a few years ago, the NBC broke up. And basically all it was, hey, Louisville, you're out. We're all just going to become the EBC, which it is what it is. Louisville was and still is a power, right? They've won a couple state championships since they've left the NBC. But now the EBC is breaking up.
Yep.
Same thing you mentioned with the ITCL and the MVAC. What I see is kind of that dominance of one team or two teams, and they go, okay, let's get rid of them and we can kind of do our own thing, and then we'll have more of a fair shot, quote unquote, fair shot for everybody else. But then one team usually takes over, and that one team's usually the team that's like, hey, if we kick these two teams out, everybody else has a better shot, but they end up winning all the championships then because they were the third place team from that situation. So what I'm getting at here is how much of it is politics, how much of it is, and this is where I think it really comes into it, and we can kind of keep this powder dry as we have Anthony Pastella in the backstage here. But I want to pose this question before we kind of unwrap this gift after the interview, Greg, is how much of it is the open enrollment factor nowadays? Because I really think a lot of this goes into, well, and especially over here, Northeast Ohio, it's if you leave our kids alone, and if you're not plucking our kids out, we'll stay here. But there's a lot of bad blood because, and I don't know the term, but what I'm going to say is incest because it makes the most sense. There's a lot of incest between two or three communities, two or three schools, really, that they just start taking each other's kids. Well, you took this guy, so I'm going to take this guy. And we're really going to go. There's a lot of dollars that are floating from community to community, and there's a lot of bad blood from community. And it's really all over Northeast Ohio, not just in particular one or two schools. Because you've heard stories of we're not going to play them because they're running buses into our community.
Yeah.
Okay, that's legit, right? We've heard that. We've checked that box. But like, how much of it is also we don't want to play because you're probably going to beat us? You know, nobody ever talks about the back end of that. So I want you to play around with that in the back of your head while we get around to this next interview. So, Greg, we'll put you in the backstage and invite our next guest, if you're Anthony Hartwig. Ladies and gentlemen, This young man, and there's two of them. Do you see two of them in the backstage?
Two
Which
of
one
them.
do I pick? All right, this is going to get dicey. Our next guest is a gentleman who is a Struthers legend, a young man who pretty much can play any position on the field if you let him, a leader and an example setter, and now he's on his way to the next level. So excited after he signs with the College of Worcester. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Pastel. AP, how are you, dude?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm well, thank you. Hey, congratulations on your commitment to Worcester. Talk to us about what the decision was like for you. How many opportunities were there out there, and what made Worcester the right fit?
I had 7 opportunities to go play college football, but Worcester really stuck out to me. I had a chance to stay overnight there for an overnight visit, and I visited there a few times. It just felt like home. The coaches were amazing, and the people there, it was just a great atmosphere.
When you think about the things that kind of leaned you towards Worcester, and the process that was like, was it automatic, or was it something that kind of went over time that they won you over?
It took kind of time. I had to make sure my family liked it too, because if they didn't really see it as like if it was good for me, then it was probably a no-go. But they said they enjoyed it, and they felt like it was a perfect match for me.
So you go from the Fighting Wildcats to the Fighting Scots. I mean, what are some of the similarities that you feel that you're going to be able to bring right off the jump, right off the rip, the second you step on campus?
Hopefully, I can bring some good energy to the team, and just hope for the best. Whatever happens, happens.
We know that the recruiting process is stressful. I mean, we all talk about how much you have to go through it and how much it's kind of weighing on your shoulders when you're trying to get on radars and you're trying to figure out where, your home is. Now that you've locked it in and you know where you're going, how much stress is off your shoulders? How does it feel to kind of finally be done with that process?
It feels really good that I made my decision. My phone don't get blown up as much as it used to, but now I just have to talk to my coaches up in Worcester and make sure everything's great.
What are your expectations for yourself taking this big step? I mean, there's only 7% of kids from high school go on to play college anything, let alone college football. What are your expectations for yourself and staying a leader when you go from being what you did in your career at Struthers onto the next level? What do you expect from yourself when you step onto that field, when you step in that locker room?
I expect to learn a lot of new things. Listen, pay a lot of attention, and just make sure I always pay attention and stay locked in for everything.
In a college setting, everyone kind of brings something from their hometown into the locker room to kind of be a part of that team personality. What do you think is going to be something from Struthers that you learned from being at Struthers, being a Wildcat, that you're going to take into the Worcester's locker room that's going to stick with you?
I'd probably bring in something to help me make sure my locker don't stink, because some locker rooms, including Struthers, they smell pretty bad.
All right, you went literally. I like that.
Yeah.
From that
Yeah, I love
standpoint. I
Yeah.
like that. Let's talk about your high school career, man. I mean, you could be found anywhere on the field. I mean, you got special teams going for you. Obviously, you can sling it around. You can run the rock with the best of them. For you, what did you feel was your biggest challenge in being that guy at Struthers? And then what maybe the thing that you felt you were the best at, or maybe it was the same thing?
I felt like a big challenge was trying to, I wouldn't say help others, but include others, because I feel like I had a big role, and if something wasn't done, they'd expect me to help fix it and help them learn what they did wrong. And then I'd say wait, what was the second question you said?
One was a challenge. What was your biggest challenge, and what was your biggest strength, I guess, when it came to the way you play football?
Probably the biggest strength, I'd say, at least this year, all my teammates say, when that ball's in the air, I have to go get it. So I'd say that probably going to get the ball when it's in the air.
Now that you've made that next level dream come true, there's going to be a lot of guys that are still trying to do it that are going to come to you and be like, hey, what's some advice? What are some things that you did? How do you navigate this and that? What are some things that you'll tell them, and you'll kind of share advice on your experience about how they can navigate those waters and those recruiting processes?
You just got to stay focused, never give up. You're always not going to be the person up in line, but when it comes to your turn, you got to really take it. And don't let anyone take it from you when you have the chance.
Do you have any favorite memories of playing for the Wildcats? What are some of the great moments of your career over the last 4 years?
I'd say my greatest moment was this year. We weren't really that good overall, but when we played Lakeview, we had 7 seconds left, and we threw a Hail Mary to me, and I caught it for the touchdown, for the game-winning touchdown.
I mean, that's something that you might never experience again, and a lot of people can't say that they've done catch a Hail Mary, so that's awesome. Friday Night Lights are also kind of special. You know, that's something that a lot of people, even in college, they'll come back and they'll say, I don't feel necessarily that experience again. What was your favorite thing about that atmosphere of a high school football game that you think you might miss a little bit?
I'm gonna miss running out of the tunnel and seeing all the fans in the hometown, and then all the lights going crazy when something happens. It's just a really good atmosphere for Struthers.
Struthers, very proud city, obviously. When you think about the honor that it was to wear that S, what comes to mind? I mean, what feelings come over you when you got to suit up on Friday night and represent your entire city?
I just had to lock in and help make sure my city was there, and I had to protect the city from whoever came into it.
When you think about, you know, what you want to accomplish, you know, what are some things that are on your goals in college? What are some things that you hope to go to Wooster and get done on your goal board?
I hope to get better every day, get stronger, work hard, and make sure I can make a name for myself sooner or later.
What are we studying?
Probably criminal justice.
Oh, you gonna be a cop?
I want to be a State Highway Patrol.
There you
All
go.
right,
All
there
right,
you
listen. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you see a YSN truck going
No,
about
you did.
85 on 11, I'm good. Okay,
You're
I'm
good.
not hurting anybody. I'm just trying to get to a game. Probably
Yep.
one of like yours. Okay,
Probably
so
Struthers.
just text me up, tell me slow down, whatever. We don't need to make a big scene about it. Okay.
All right.
So, dude, I can't thank you enough. You are so fun to watch. You are an impact player, an impact young man, wherever you are on the field, wherever you are off the field as well. We are so excited to see what the next chapter holds for you at Wooster. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on Tuesday, midday. I know you're busy, but certainly this was worth highlighting. And thank you for everything you did for ball over the last 4 years. We appreciate you, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you guys for giving me the chance to come on here.
You got it, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, from Struthers, Anthony Pastella. AP. Absolute legend. I had one more question. I should have loaded it up. All right. I'll have to ask him offline. When you're talking about guys like AP that have just like you could put him anywhere on the field.
Mm-hmm.
He probably wouldn't want to play line. Like they got some big boys over in Struthers. Big boys. Like so I think
That's
he'd
not to
probably
say he
be like,
couldn't. He probably could. He wouldn't
could.
like it, but he could.
He could. But I think he's a bigger impact player elsewhere. I mean, he can go get ball. Like he's thrown it. He's run it. I mean, he is a absolute nightmare to plan against. When you're looking for Anthony Pastella on tape, you're just like, okay, where's one? Where did he go? He's like David Copperfield.
There were times, like, you know, I wrote the football stories, and I would be so confused because I'm like, well, who's Struthers' quarterback?
Yep.
So seeing him have, you know, 11 for 17 with, you know, 200 yards and a touchdown, but also catching touchdowns. I'm like, well, who's throwing the ball? I don't know.
Not only that, but then he's like, I'm looking for pictures of him. He's punting. He's doing all like literally everywhere. I'm like, all right, well, do I want to use a picture of him punting? Like, I don't know if that's offensive unless he's Pat McAfee. Like maybe it's offensive. Maybe hey, why didn't you guys use a picture of me being quarterback or receiver or running back? Like why are we using a picture of me punting? These are the things that go through our minds whenever it comes to making graphics for high school students. Like somebody's girlfriend's going to get hacked off and just be like, you see what he did? He disrespected you because you're punting. There's 900 pictures of you doing something else. Thank you to AP for stopping by. Hey, one more time. Congratulations. Going to Wooster. All right. Am I the only idiot that says Worcester? Am I pronouncing it wrong? I thought I was pronouncing it right. Or does it just depend on where you are in Ohio, how you pronounce
I'll
it?
tell you what, I don't know how it, but Wooster sounds cooler because you can
Oh,
do
Wooster.
the whole woo,
Like
but
Wooster, like rooster, or is
Yeah.
it Worcester? I don't know. And we can't ask Greg because he's got that weird Buffalo accent anyway. So it's gonna be jacked up. Speaking of Greg, let's invite him back in. Greg,
Like,
thanks for being
you just fire shots at me while I'm in the background and can't respond. Like,
I see you
like,
giggling in the
all right.
back. It's not. I mean,
so like,
hey,
but I also got to bring this up. We have a town called Camel, but it's spelled like Campbell's soup. So why do we
Correct.
pronounce it like Camel? And then you got
Campbell
Vienna.
is copyrighted and we can't
Vienna.
say that.
Then you got Vienna that's
Sack.
pronounced Vienna.
Yeah,
So
you
like,
do.
I was fixed. Like I did. These are things I didn't know when I came to Ohio. But like, why are they pronounced like that?
Well, and then
So
you got East
you're picking on my
Palestine
Buffalo accent. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
East Palestine.
and Andy, the Coach Hake. One of my best friends in the entire world will not call it East Palestine. Will not. You're down there in East Palestine. I'm like, Andy, I told you 900 times. It's Palestine. And he does it just to get under, like just to get under my skin. Like he knows it.
Sounds like Andy. Sounds like
But you have,
Coach.
but you're right. Camel, right? And when we have
Yeah.
to tell people all the time, it's camel, like the ones you ride, the camel.
Yeah.
Not Campbell Soup. But they
Yeah.
call it Soup City,
Yeah.
which completely obliterates any argument that we have.
When I first moved here, and I was like pronouncing names, one of the editors at the paper were like, "No, it's this way," and I was like, "That makes no sense to me. I'm sorry."
And then it's
I was-
Vienna. Do not say Vienna like in Virginia.
I corrected myself.
No, I'm not saying you. Sorry.
Yeah.
For
It's
people,
Vienna.
maybe,
Yeah.
Greg, this is an international show. I don't know if you know this. There are people over
We're
in
touching people in France.
Italy that are like manja idiots. But also, again, there's so many weird pronunciations around here.
Mhm.
Vienna is one that I get, but I always get confused because I have family that lives in Vienna, Virginia, and it's like, oh, okay, and then they get mad because the Vienna sausages. You think we're sausages? You think we make sausages? No, like, relax. We know you don't make sausages in Vienna, Ohio. Someone who might make sausages in Calcutta, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, are soon-to-be award-winning investigative reporter and investigative journalist. Ladies and gentlemen, the young man, the youngest on our roster, and yet the nearest and dearest to our hearts, Mikey McKenzie.
Sorry, Mikey, we need some investigation. Is it Worcester or Wooster? You have to figure that out.
Okay, so I will look up 100% what it is. I was under the impression that it was Worcester.
Wuss, like
Wuss.
you're a wuss,
Like, you're a wuss.
Wuss. Yeah,
Worcester.
exactly.
not Wooster, like a rooster.
I think that sounds right. I think Nuggets is right.
Even though it's spelled like rooster and it should be pronounced rooster.
But it's spelled like
Our
it's spelled
English
like
language-
Campbell,
our
and
English
it's spelled
language
Campbell. It's pronounced Campbell.
Our English language is it doesn't always make sense.
You better watch your tongue right there, because if it wasn't for the Americans, you'd be speaking Chinese or you'd be speaking.
Wait.
German
English
right now.
English
Calm down.
language is England. So it's the England's fault. It's not Americans' fault.
Yeah, but I have a feeling this is more Americanese than English. Like
American.
this is the Brits aren't over there breaking down Worcester versus Wooster.
Yeah,
This
but the
is-
Brits are over there saying aluminium instead of aluminum. And color. Oh, it's a good color.
What's color?
It's color, but they spell it with a U.
This is why we broke off from them.
C-O-L-O-U-R.
Yeah,
There's
there's multiple words that
Yeah.
they spell with a U that just look so wrong.
It's wrong. It's ooh.
They just sound like dopes. Like that's just how it is.
Everything ends with an upper accent.
All right, did we get clarification, McNuggies?
Yeah, it is Worcester.
Worcester.
So
And
Anthony was
still.
wrong.
And
I
still,
just said what it was spelled like. I didn't say that was my guess on
Okay.
how it's actually pronounced. I said spelled
you
like
said Wooster. Let's
It's spelled like rooster, so it should be Wooster. But
no, it
it's not.
shouldn't.
It shouldn't. It should. Should and is are two different things.
Is it
If
roof
something-
or roof?
So
Oh, it's
do you
rough.
Do you have the same
Roof,
argument
roof.
for camel then?
What?
Do you have the same argument for camel then?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there are so many English words that are exactly the same.
Is it roof or
They
roof?
should be spelled the exact
Hey.
same, and they're not. What?
Roof or roof?
I say roof. It's the roof. Roof. Go up on the roof. I don't say roof. There's no U in there. It's not rough like a dog roof. It's roof. Roof.
It
Is
seems
it
like
roof
every
or
time
roof?
all four of us are together, this conversation.
Do you say creek or crick? Like creek or crick?
Creek. I have a creek
Yeah,
in my
creek.
backyard.
But a lot of people say crick.
You got a crick in your neck.
Yeah, but hey, it's down by the crick. Like you've heard that, right? People have said crick.
Some people spell crick though, CRICK. So
Is
like, I
it
can see that.
caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Yeah,
Or
but some people say caramel.
Some yeah.
So it's
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. Yeah, let's get back to conferences. Yeah, woo.
I don't think people want us to go back. I think they like this conversation, as a matter of fact, right now, because we are solving the world's problems. Because McNuggies, we tout him as an investigative journalist, and he did his job today. Hey,
Way to go.
McNuggies, atta baby, way to bring it. Worcester. Boy, AP's gonna learn real quick.
Was that Google AI McNuggets?
No, that was actually YouTube. I looked it
Oh,
up
there
on
you go.
YouTube.
Oh,
Okay. All right. I love it.
We're done.
Our credibility is out the window.
But it was the College of Worcester's official YouTube page.
There you go.
On the
So,
college.
so here's the other thing. We have our own language here in Northeast Ohio, but like you go above, and Greg, I don't want to offend you. You go above to like Cleveland, and they all have like Buffalo accents. The long A's. It's bad. Real bad. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does anybody else know what I'm talking about right now?
Yeah, like a bathroom.
Viet.
A little bit.
We're going to the
Bathroom.
bathroom. Bath. Like it's like Minnesota. It's one of those accents, like the little Canadian to it.
But it's like only with A's, and it's a little bit lighter than Canadian. But it's like it's there and it doesn't hit your ear right, and you're like, what?
Is it just the water? Should we get Sam on?
I say some particular words like very weird. I will say that. Well, compared to my wife, I guess.
Please.
I say,
Where's
like,
Lauren from?
Lauren's from Salem.
Okay,
So she's from here.
she's
But
normal.
she says like bagel. Like she draws out her A. So, but I say
Bagel.
like I say elementary.
Elementary.
Yeah,
So it's not elementary.
like elementary school.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's how I've always said it. That's the one word she picks on me all the time for, because of how I say it.
So if you were going to say it's elementary, my dear Watson, you would say what?
It's elementary. That's how I've always said it. That's how I've always said it since I was a little kid. Like elementary school. Like my kid is going to elementary school.
Crayon or crayon?
Ooh.
Crayon.
Like cranberry?
Like you're drawing with crayons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crayons. Cranberry.
So what's the difference between cranberry and crayon?
There's no Y in cranberry. Well,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
no
there's
Y.
a Y, and I love every time my wife makes cranberry sauce. I love why she makes it for me. Who
I don't know, it's
speaks
just-
like you're getting roasted on Twitch?
I don't know who that is.
Hey,
Thanks for joining,
congratulations. Congratulations. We made it on Twitch, and somehow Greg McAfee is being roasted on Twitch.
Sarah. I get called King and Lord and Savior, and now I'm getting picked on for my English language. So that's you ride the highs, you ride the lows.
Well, your language is elementary, right? Okay, so what are some other
You guys
words?
ever hear people add the R to wash and they say wash?
Oh, that's
That's
Pittsburgh.
That's
That's like-
Pittsburgh. That's
Where did the R
Pittsburghese.
come from, though? Like
That's Pittsburghese.
wash.
Oh, here we see. I told you we were international. I'm from the
There we
UK,
go.
and no one says elementary. Yeah,
I do. I
know
do,
what else?
Sarah.
You know,
I do.
hey, Sarah, you know what else no one says? That you guys won back-to-back World Wars, baby. Boom. USA. USA. Uh, such an American. Yep, I am. Happy. All right, let's get back on track before we have a literal World War III.
on the show.
Everybody's worried about the president. There was just some dope CEO in Youngstown, Ohio. It's going to start World War
the
III with
United
everybody.
Kingdom declared war on America. Why? Some guy named DJ Oakley was viciously assaulted.
I got the right color shirt on. That's all I'm saying.
That's their colors.
Onward we go to the conference shakeup situation, guys. Greg, before we had to dip you out, it was a scenario where I asked, do you think, or I guess how much does open enrollment have to do with these conference shakeups? The fact that teams won't play each other, they can't build a conference if you're not going to play each other. How much does open enrollment have to do with what these conferences have to go through nowadays?
I mean, I think it would be part of the equation. I mean, just to kind of put it simply, I mean, you have enrollments changing, things like that. So numbers of sizes of schools change and things of that nature. And you don't necessarily want to play. I would think you'd want to play schools of similar size consistently across all sports on a year-to-year basis. So I think with kids changing schools and all of that stuff with open enrollment, I would think it plays into the equation a little bit. I don't think it's like with conferences changing. I don't think it's necessarily just one thing. I think there's equation that kind of goes into it. I think it's a number of different things that kind of play a role in conferences falling apart and getting created. But I think enrollment would definitely be one thing. Open enrollment would definitely be one thing that kind of plays into it.
McNuggies, you're in a real situation because Beaver Local has been in conferences, out of conferences. They've been invited to conferences. They were in the AAC at one point, way before your time. But you think about this, and your dad was instrumental in a lot of this, from being an athletic director at one point. Now he's, a head football coach, obviously, as he's been. But like for you, what kind of conversations do you hear? What things have you seen from a Beaver Local perspective? Not to put you on the spot, but Beaver Local is in a really unique position because everybody wants them to join the conference, whether it be the NE8 or the EBC or whatever it may be. A very, very valuable piece because of the sports. But for you, like, what do you see? What from a conference standpoint? Why are conferences not more just fluid? And hey, this makes sense. Let's do this.
I'm going to be honest. I don't understand why it's not just cut and dry for some of these teams. But I mean, from a Beaver Local perspective, these Beaver Local and East Liverpool are probably in the most unique spot in our area because it's about 25, 30 minutes drive north, 25, 30 minutes drive south to play whatever conference they decide to be in. And I think over the recent years, Beaver Local was just in the Buckeye 8. So they just decided, we're going to stay in the Buckeye 8. We don't want to go hunting for another conference. We feel secure, where we're at. But then there have been some scheduling issues for football, for basketball. Some of the teams, even in conference, have given trouble to Beaver Local in multiple sports about, okay, I don't think we should play each other in this sport. Play your other league games and that'll satisfy it. And we'll play some other league games. We don't have to play each other. And that's given Beaver Local some scheduling conflicts, specifically in football. I know that this year there are going to be a few changes in the schedule. I think from a year-to-year basis, I feel like Beaver Local out of the local area teams has some of the most different schedules on a year-to-year basis. I feel like there's 3 changes year to year on their schedule. And a lot of that has to do with conferencing, and there's a low number of league games that they have to play. So that gives room for some of the other teams to say, I don't think we're going to play this year, or we're going to go elsewhere to find our other non-sanctioned league games. And that's given Beaver Local at least for a little bit of trouble scheduling wise.
Anthony, one of the things that I saw in the Morning Journal article about Crestview was Casey Bogard saying there's enough teams out and about to essentially create a maybe I had that wrong, but the context I got was there's enough teams that are either on their way out of a conference or don't have a conference right now to create another conference. So I'm going to give the baton to you for a perfect conference for Crestview. What does that look like? Who are the teams that should be in a conference with the Crestview Rebels at this point in the way and the trajectory that they're on over the last few years?
Oh, geez, I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble and see a team that's like happy in their conference and be like, we're not leaving anywhere. Anthony's wrong. But, I think there are some teams that like it just makes sense to kind of be with Crestview. In that county, I think Columbiana and Crestview kind of go hand in hand. I know they don't necessarily play well in the sandbox together at all times, but they're around the same size. They're both good in plenty of sports, so they feel like they'd be competitive in the sports, even outside of football. I think they'd be competitive in football, but I think you look at they both have premier volleyball programs, they both have premier boys basketball and girls basketball programs, they both have premier softball programs. So I feel like they'd be kind of competitive everywhere around. I feel like that makes sense. You go into like the West Branch is probably a little bit too big for Crestview, but I think Crestview would be fine in most sports against West Branch. I think they're on the upper angle of their Division 5 that they're in now in most sports. So I think West Branch would actually make sense. And I know West Branch is kind of topsy-turvy right now in the EBC. So maybe West Branch would be a team. Salem is right in that boat too with West Branch. So maybe those are the teams that maybe he's talking about. Once again, disclaimer, we are not spitting facts here. I'm just trying to think of teams that like have been dominating conferences, might be either unhappy in their own conference or other teams in the conference might be unhappy with them, or teams that I've heard might be shaky in conferences that might be looking to move to other ones. Lakeview, I know it's in Trumbull County, but that's another team that's about their size, have comparable teams in the sports that both schools are good at. Softball, volleyball come to mind. They're both powerhouses in both those sports. So I feel like, those are some teams that I could think of that might make a conference good with Crestview.
So the interesting thing, and I agree with a lot of that, the interesting thing is you start hearing the rumor mill beginning, right? When everybody, and we had Nick Cifera on the show, and everybody thought he was a complete maniac for taking Leetonia out of the EOAC and putting them in the NAC. And now you look at the NAC, and it is one of the stronger conferences across the board. And they legitimized by getting Liberty in that conference for everything but football. And I think that was one of the bigger gets of the NAC. Now, when you look at that conference, you've got teams like Badger, Maplewood, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That don't have football. So, go ahead.
No, and Shocker has 8-man football, so they don't play the traditional.
But the rumors are that Shocker and there's another one in there is they're going to go back to 11-man football.
Oh, okay.
But the cool thing, well, and again, rumors, but it's one of those things that can a good conference help get more people out for sports that maybe fell backwards from 11. And with all due respect to 8-man football, if you don't have enough people to play, you're going to play 8-man football, right?
Yeah.
This has nothing against the actual sport, the actual game, or anybody that plays it. It's just the opportunity for 11-man football, I think, is always optimal for school districts because there's more opportunity out there. Even though Chalker, were they not in the state championship for 8-man football?
They were.
They were.
So I bet you the Chalker's sitting there like, well, you know what? This ain't so bad.
Anthony,
you okay?
I mean, I remember when Chalker first went to 8-man football, when they disintegrated their football program and kind of moved toward 8-man football. I know the goal was always for them to get back to 11-man football. It was just like a numbers perspective of building the program back up to be able to fill a full roster. So I mean, if that's kind of moving in that direction, it's good for the program, it's good for the school, and everything like that.
I was watching something the other day and they alluded to 9-man football. And I'm like, do they just have a different number of football at wherever you are? Like, hey, we got 10-man football. We don't have a quarterback, but we just kind of make it work. Some dude just scrambles around. Okay,
now,
so
the center is the quarterback.
That would be sick.
You got to step the ball to yourself.
I would sign up for that right now.
Just a
You just
fumble
kind of
Rooski on every play.
between the legs. You just go, hut. Like, you just run around. Fumble Rooski.
How many times can we recreate the butt fumble?
All right, I didn't have that on my bingo card today. But hey, attaboy McNuggies. Way to keep us on our toes
That was-
and on our butts. So let's think about this from a standpoint of do conferences need contracts? And what I mean by that is, do they need contracts of, hey, we can revisit this in 10 years or 5 years, but until then, you are locked in to this? Because what we're seeing now and what we've already heard about, and obviously athletic directors and coaches and fans and parents have started to pick up on this, is there's an ability for a team, a district, to just leave and leave everybody in the lurch. And essentially, usually there's a 2-year grace period, which is what we're seeing. The MVAC will play its last year. Well, as it stands right now, it'll play its last year next year, as a lot of these will. But we've seen teams just like, hey, you know what? We're out. We can't. We're done. We're toast. There's nothing but a gentleman's agreement, and that doesn't hold up in court. So should there be conference contracts saying, hey, we can revisit this in 5 years, 10 years, but until then, kind of like, we own you?
I think there should be a form of security to these teams. Like, hey, especially if it's a brand new contract or we're forming, hey, we're taking this leap with you, and there's a sense of security there that we're not going to be in this new conference for a year and someone's going to decide they don't like it anymore and then just leave us out to dry. I think that should be a form of security. Now, I know things happen, like detrimental, so there might be a little clause in there that says, like, if this circumstance comes about, which like an extreme circumstance, there's a way out maybe. But yeah, you shouldn't just be able to be like, not feeling it anymore. I think I'm going to pack up and go.
We haven't won. We haven't won in 6 years. We're out.
We didn't win the first year the conference started, so this is not going the way we wanted it to. Let's go.
So the other question I have, and this is something that I've been advocating for a long time, and some of the conversations we've had even on the show, a little bit crazy, because we have small schools, we have medium-sized schools, we have large schools, not like D1 large, but D2.
Mm-hmm.
Would it ever make sense to go into a county conference system in the state of Ohio, where Columbiana County plays Columbiana County schools in a conference, Mahoning County plays Mahoning County schools, Trumbull plays Trumbull? I mean, it used to be like that, and then it got kind of a little bit, I don't know, mixed up. I mean, for competitive reasons, obviously, but also a situation where, hey, the county, and I know Sam's big into this, the county should mean something, and a county cup or a county championship would be, I think, be beneficial, because those are the kids that you grow up playing, and then all of a sudden you're playing kids from 3 counties over who you have no history with, no relationship with, and you're just nameless gray faces. Greg, we'll kick to you on this one.
I mean, I think that would make the most sense, because I think when you hear about these conferences changing, one thing that's said a lot from athletic directors is the travel aspect of it, being able to play teams to cut down on the travel budget of driving 20 minutes to a school compared to 45 minutes away for a game or something like that. So like when you think of it from that perspective, I think it makes the most sense. Then you're playing schools in the county. You don't have long, trips for away games and things of that nature. But, there's also the size aspect of schools. You have, when you're limited to teams, league games just in your county, you're going to be playing teams that are bigger in size. On some cases, if you look at like the Mahoning County, for example, you have schools that are bigger, you have schools that are smaller. Columbiana, same thing. Trumbull, same thing. So it's like it's finding a perfect balance in a way. And I don't know, one thing that you could bring up would be, all right, if you have this county perspective, you have this county approach, all the small schools play all the small schools, all the big schools play all the big schools, and you kind of split it into 2 different tiers, and kind of approach it that way in a nature. But I think it would make sense from a travel aspect of playing schools in your conference based on county.
And there's a lot of people that'll sit there and have told me it doesn't make sense because then you have an Austin Town Fitch playing a Sebring. And
Yeah. Mhm.
for every one of those, there's also the situation where the NE8 wasn't supposed to make sense because South Range was
Yeah.
supposed to be the just runt of the litter, so to speak. And
Mhm.
for the first however many years, they were
Yeah.
able to win the conference championship in football. So, it's really interesting to me. McNuggies, what are your thoughts on a county championship and scheduling conferences based on your geolocation and not necessarily who you want to play?
I think at the very least, coming from a Beaver local perspective, that's something that when I was in school, we kind of wanted a little bit because in the Buckeye 8, travel was a little off. You got to go 40 minutes. I felt like on average to play some league games. I mean, we'd have to go to Harrison Central to play league games of baseball and basketball, and that's over an hour drive. And sometimes we're getting back to the school on a Tuesday night, little before 11, and we got to be in class the next morning at 7:30. So I think from a travel perspective, that's what a lot of the students wanted when I was at Beaver Local, at least. But then again, to Greg's point, I think it's a little bit of what open enrollment has brought. There's such a disparity in the school sizes and in some cases the talent at certain schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is a little bit of danger of, two teams in this county have won, kind of shared the title back and forth for the last 5 or 6 years. And I feel like it makes the most sense, but there's also some disparities in sizes and in school talent sometimes. And again, that's what open enrollment, I think, has brought an extra challenge to trying to do that. So as much sense as it makes, I still feel like there's maybe too many challenges to just up and do that initially. I feel like there might be extra guardrails that need to be put in place from an open enrollment perspective to make that work.
Anthony, from your perspective, we'll let you round out this conversation. I mean, would there be more pride in a county championship than there is in a quote unquote conference championship as they stand right now?
It just depends, like, what conference you're taking. Like, right now, if you win the AAC in softball, I think there's a lot of pride because there's like 3 teams in the last 3 years that have made it to state in that conference. So, you win that conference, probably means a little bit more to you than if Canfield won Mahoning County or if Fitch won Trumbull County or if Boardman won Mahoning County. But, then there are some conferences that are just teams that, they might win districts every now and then. And so if
that
you win a
wouldn't
county
change anything, would
conference,
it?
if you win Fitch wouldn't play Boardman or Canfield anymore.
Why wouldn't they?
Because Trumbull and Mahoning, right?
No,
Fitch
Fitch,
is a Trumbull County?
Austin Town's in Mahoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my counties are all messed up. I do not know the county lines. My bad. I guess I'm Warren Harding. Warren Harding is not in that county, so they would be out of the AAC, right? So that would be different. That's okay. At least I'm good there. Good. We're good. So I guess that whole argument. But there probably are some counties out there that, I bet the conferences in some sports they're a little bit more competitive, so they might mean more to that school to say, hey, we won this conference rather than we won the county that takes some of those big schools that we beat out of our conference away. I think that every sport has a couple of programs in the YSN family that are in the window right now where they're thinking we want to win state. That's our legitimate goal, tangible goal. We are a state caliber team. And if you took them into the county, that would bog down their schedule with a lot of teams that aren't in that frame yet. So I don't know. I mean, like McNuggie said, there is talent and size disparities that make it tough, but it would also give a lot of reasons why those programs that aren't there yet to get there. If you have to expose yourself to that level of competition, there's no way around it. You have to play them now. They're in your conference. It's not we'll play them if we want to non-conference. If we feel like testing ourselves this year, we'll play them. No, now you have to play them because they're in your county. There's no way around it, and that's either going to make you a lot better or it's going to make you fold, and you'll find out a lot about your programs that are kind of on that cusp. Maybe they're winning districts, but they can't get past regionals. Maybe that'll be beneficial for them. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that are scared of that next step. Taking that next step, to do that, you have to play the teams that are that next step ahead of you every now and then. And if you're forced to do that, maybe it'll make you better.
It's funny because this is what they do in the MAC right now out west is hey, we're going to play each other. I don't care if we're D4 and you're D7, we're playing. And that's why,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen them in football at least. And I think pretty much across the board in everything they do is become powerhouses because iron sharpens iron. I also
Mhm.
would suggest, and there's no science behind this, but if you build pride into a county championship and you base conferences on counties, I believe the pride would stay in your own community and it would lower the want, I guess, to become an open enrollment student. That's my take. I really think that,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to stay in our community. We're going to play with our kids, and then we're going to go up the entire way, and we're going to beat Team Z or Team X or Team Y because this is what we've wanted to do. And the rivalry stuff, guys, is what really moves the needle. I mean, how excited do
Yeah.
we get every year for Mooney Ursuline? How excited do we get for Canfield Poland? How excited do we get for Columbiana East Palestine? It's one of those things where if you don't win another game, we talk about it all the time. If you don't win a championship, whatever. But if you win one game all season, it's that game. And I think that needs to make a return to the high school level of, hey, guys, if we're going to put all our chips on the table, it's going to be for this game. We're going to work extra hard. We're going to watch extra tape. We're going to, practice a little bit longer. We're going to eat a little bit less and stay hungry. I think a lot of that needs to return in these conferences. Again, I like NE8 is my favorite conference because it has so many different size schools in it.
Yeah.
And it's an any given Friday, it's an any given night situation in that sport. But I think everybody knew the MVAC was very, very tipsy-turvy from the jump. And anytime you have multiple tiers, as we've seen, it is a dicey roll. I mean, it is a absolute roll of the dice for a conference to have 15, 16, 17, 18 teams and try to keep it together because someone is going to get left out. Someone is not going to feel that love. So a great conversation, guys. A great conversation. Can't thank you enough for being candid. And obviously, this is not scripted. Like we did not prepare this. McNuggies had no idea the fire that he was walking into today at 12:30, and Greg knew at about 11:59 that we were talking about this today. So, hopefully you take something away. Please don't hold it against us. Whatever our opinions are, they are ours, not the opinions necessarily of even the company YSN. If you want to pin it on me. But it's nice to talk about, right? It's what you do on March 24th when everything's canceled and when we're not playing much because it's frozen tundra out there. But I will tell you this, guys, it was, I think they got to get it figured out because I think the ball is slipping out of the fingers right now. And if they don't do something quickly to fix it, and I'm talking about the OHSAA has to get involved in this too, because there's teams that are not playing that they should be playing. And the OHSAA needs to step up and be like, listen, you need to play them. You need to play them because they're right there. But they won't because they're not going to benefit from it financially. So that's how that's how they play. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. And of course, just like YSN, they are open 24/7, 365 on the web at DickeyElectric.com. Today's Joe Dickey Electric Spark. We start leading off, batting in a room full of blue. And used to be a wicked poster on his closet, Anthony Ronald Hartwig.
All right, so my spark today.
Hartwig.
Oh, we're echoing. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Number 2.
My spark today, March Madness has brought a lot of losing press conferences that we've seen. A lot of coaches, I think, on both sides, women's and men's, kind of lack accountability from the top. They've found excuses or things to complain about or why they lost or things would be different if they weren't this. I saw a Syracuse women's coach kind of complain that they were in UConn's bracket again, because I think that coach has been in their bracket for 4 or 5 straight years. So it's like all of a sudden we have to change the whole bracket round so we don't play UConn again. There's just a lot of not taking accountability from coaches in the March Madness that I've seen from both sides. Accountability at the top is how you form a good leadership. So if your head coach doesn't take accountability first, your program's probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So it's sad to see.
Who was the coach in the women's tournament that was coaching her face off and got in her players?
Maryland, yeah. This
was
is your time.
Awesome.
Yeah. I believe in you, but you have to want this moment. Yep.
And you got did you see the John Boy Media breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, and listen, this isn't a plug. Like, I love John Boy. I'm a baseball guy. I love John Boy. They do an awesome job of doing that stuff, because if you want to know what's really being said and breaking it down, boy, is that don't let your kids listen a lot of times, but maybe you let your kids have the freedom of speech like I do. My wife doesn't like this, but I let them hear it because that's how grown-ups talk. And then we say, hey, we don't say, until we pay taxes, we don't say those words. You pay taxes, you can say whatever you want. That's your right in this country. They don't have that in the UK, right, Sarah? Greg McAfee, what is your spark?
All right, so I got two today. First one, I want to give a shout out to Jared Calhoun. He was just hired at Cincinnati, former YSU men's basketball coach. Loved interacting with him when he was here. Thought he brought a spark to the program before going to Utah State. So shout out to him, returning to his alma mater, a place he's coached before. Really cool to see. Secondly, baseball is officially back tomorrow, opening day, Wednesday. Got the Yankees and the Giants, and then the Pirates start their season in New York on Thursday against the Mets. So excited that baseball is back, national holiday. I'm excited to see some games, that's for sure.
Are they sending you up to the Big Apple?
No. Nope.
No.
That guy stinks. That guy stinks. McNuggies, what's your spark?
I got a couple. First is kind of what Greg's is, but in a little more negative light. I don't know why the MLB scheduled opening day weekend the way that they did. You got one game on Wednesday as a standalone, then a few teams open up on Thursday, and then a few of them start their season on Friday. Let's all start the season on the same day. It's supposed to be a national holiday, not a national 3 holiday. Some teams get left out until Friday. Thankfully, the Pirates don't get left out. They're Thursday on national television because of Paul Skeens, the greatest thing to happen to the franchise in at least a decade. But some teams get left out till Friday. You know, I think if the Pirates didn't have Skeens pitching, they'd be one of the teams left out till Friday. So some teams not starting until then, I think, is a little bogus from the MLB. And then I don't like some of the decisions the Pirates made with their opening day roster. Griffin starting in AAA, I don't think I agree with that. But also, Jostixon Garcia, the password, as everybody calls him, hit over 500 in spring training, brought a lot of power. I don't get why he's not on the roster. I think you could have found an extra spot for him on the bench instead of Nick York and Billy Cook, who, with all due respect, had good spring trainings. They're not part of the long-term solution. And I feel like if Garcia coming back for Johan Oviedo, who was going to be a big arm in the rotation, I feel like that means you have a lot of faith in him being at least a bench piece for the long haul, and starting him off in AAA with Connor Griffin. I don't agree with that decision necessarily.
I can't wait. I am the most excited that I've ever been.
I will agree with that.
Listen, as much as I'm bummed out that KG isn't starting the season with the Pirates, I get it. He doesn't have a single AAA at bat. I'm giving, probably shouldn't, I'm giving the front office the benefit of the doubt here. Password being down kind of bummed me out. But I also like the cavalry aspect of, hey, if stuff's going south real quick in the first 30 games, here they come. Here come the boys. And also, by the way, as a business person, I understand that if they stink for the first 30 games, the ticket sales are going to drop, and then they're going to spike whenever those guys come flying to the rescue. So, and as a brand new season ticket holder for the Pirates and the Guardians, or the Indians, no matter which way you put it, I'm excited for some baseball. But I will tell you this, as my spark today, boys, as excited as I am for my Pirates, I am absolutely yoked and stoked for the Cincinnati Reds, who, in case you've been living under a rock, or maybe you don't know, the pride of Cardinal Mooney High School, Mr. Ian Francis, by way of Youngstown State University in Kansas, was on their spring training roster. And Ian Francis, a catcher in their program, in their ball club. I would never in a million years root for the Cincinnati Reds. Even with Ken Griffey Jr. on the team, I didn't root for him. But I will tell you this, having Ian Francis and a young man who I can appreciate and I admire, does things the right way, has always done it the right way. Ian Francis, couldn't be more proud of you and your journey. And then yesterday, gentlemen, I don't know if you saw it on social media, but another catcher, another gentleman who made his way through the Youngstown Class B League, J.J. Weatherholt, made his way onto the opening day roster. I think he was the 7th overall pick by the Cardinals. He changed his number. They changed his number from 77, which is kind of the rite of passage when you're working your way up, to 26. He'll be on the opening day roster for the Cardinals. A former Astro Falcon, WVU player, and again, first round draft pick who has been on YSN, and hopefully we'll be able to get both those guys to talk about their experience and experiences through the system, through college, navigating, and now into the major leagues. Hey, unbelievable. Tip of the cap. Probably not the cap that they're looking to be tipped, but either way, we're so proud of them. And as a guy who just is obsessed as part of the catching fraternity, could not be more happy and proud of those two gentlemen. And don't forget, we got Landon Beitelcheese with the Braves as well in that program. So, and I can tell you, spoiler alert, there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more coming, ladies and gentlemen, from Youngstown, Ohio, or the surrounding areas, or by way of Youngstown. There's a lot more that are going to be dancing in the big leagues here in the next few years. So, incredibly proud of them. They should be proud. Their families, their communities should all be proud of what they've accomplished, what they're accomplishing. And we share the same sentiment. So that's going to do it for this Tuesday edition of YSN Live. Tune in tomorrow. Anthony, I'm on Wednesdays.
Yeah, you got a Wednesday.
Making me work. What are we doing tomorrow? Are we just going to hang out?
We're gonna send a hangout, buddy. we have Jeff DeRose being recorded before the show. If you want to play him on Wednesday,
Spanky DeRose.
Yeah,
I'm in.
So we can do that.
Great conversation.
Season preview. South Range was supposed to start the season tonight, but their game at Poland got canceled, like many others, because of the cold. So we'll be.
I was trying to get out to Lisbon, and I looked at my wife, who's our scheduler. A little peek behind the scenes here. And she goes, "You're not on the schedule today." I was like, "Well, I wanted to see what the weather was first. Like, I'm not going to go out there and freeze." Like, with all due respect, those girls they're a lot tougher than I am, right? Like, I'm not, a little different. I'm not out there, digging dirt. I'm out there just trying to survive. And I'd be out there in thermals and all kinds of stuff. And I don't think they have electric out there, do they? In
Lisbon? No,
that's tough to get out. I thought we were going to make history today. St. Thomas Aquinas, first ever softball. But we will have them tomorrow interviewing. So Coach Pinter, looking forward to talking to him. And then apparently Spanky DeRose is going to be on. So I'm good with it. Mackenzie, you doing anything tomorrow?
I got no plans.
Of course not. Let's have a show.
How about you, Greg? You had class?
Class.
Oh, boo.
He's contractually obligated for 1 day a week. Oh, man. Guys, great show. Great show today. Appreciate you. Well done.
Yep.
Everybody around the horn. Appreciate you. Thank you all for tuning in to this absolute crap show that we do every day, that we put a lot of pride into, but never seem to get the full juice out of the squeeze that we put into. For the Professor Greg McAfee, for McNuggies Michael McKenzie, for the Oscar-winning and Pulitzer Prize nominated Anthony Ronald Hartwig. My name is DJ Oakley. We will be better tomorrow. We hope, because it can't get much worse. But until then, gentlemen, may the sports be with you.
And you, my friend.
Well.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.